Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers. I'm back in my nature retreat. Today, I want to talk about the importance of being grounded. Especially in this period right now we're in. We're starting the season of eclipses. It starts this week with the partial lunar eclipse in Scorpio. We're going to go dive deep into the depths of our psyche, our emotions, our well-being, what still lurks inside to be revealed. Then we have some other eclipses up until the end of May. And how I see eclipses, it's like the universal energy when the new year, astrological year begins. It kind of triggers us to go deeper within after all the retrograding. We're kind of establishing the new foundations. And then we're sort of asked, okay, how will you walk in this new? Will you go from the depths of your being? Will you stay on the surface? Or, something in the middle. So that's why I feel eclipses are so important. They might not always be pleasant, especially for people who still keep holding on to things, or, who stay up here, instead of bringing it all down here. So that is why today I feel really guided and inspired to talk about the importance of being grounded. What does it mean for me? It's not just walking barefoot, eating food that grounds you. Like, for example, staying in nature, feeling your roots going deep to the surface. That's just a part of your ritual. It's kind of like a ritual when you are grounding yourself to Mother Earth. But what I want to talk about in this video is the importance of being grounded in our daily lives, through every action, in every relationship, how we basically live, love, embodied. Because for a long time, I'm saying all this stuff about divine love, embodying Ascension even. Because a lot of us, in a way, still forget and deny our humanness. We sort of live up here, we live by ideals. And a lot of the people then project these ideals here in the physical, and for a lot of examples also have expectations for the world, for the outer reality to match this, for people to be a certain way. Instead of you looking deeper within you and seeing where you're not still aligned with that deep groundedness, with your essence. Because when we grow, when we go through different stages of our growth and growing up, not just evolution of our soul, but also evolution of our humanness. That is the important part here, because we're here for a reason as humans. Although a lot of us come here as volunteer souls, we don't need to be here. We are here anyway because we decide to play this game. We decided to co-create on this level of experience and to share our eternal spirit as we have, so much infused in our divine remembrance. But it's really important when we really focus on this, is that we're here all as humans. We all also have this human level, and this human level and the human experiences are actually what really triggers us into our ascension. So what does it mean for me to live an embodiment of divine love? Because so many of us talk about love as an ideal and everything is love, but when it comes to your everyday lives and situations and people, you won't always act this way. For example, there's a lot of people who ask me questions via emails, for example. They ask me, please help me understand this, or how do I act in this way? And I can't do that. I can grow from someone else, and vice versa. No one can grow for you. No one can help you understand things. We can just uplift each other. Love, divine love, what it really is going through your own stuff, through your own humanness, embracing it, through divinity. We're already divine beings. We already know what divine love is, but here, what it is, but here we're learning how to implement it in this densest of the densest levels. So only the strongest of the strong really do that, actually. We don't just fantasize, we don't just daydream about high ideals, but we say, what the heck, we're the ones who make those ideals real. And we're not just sitting there and complaining about how everything is bad in our world. We decide to go deep within to see why we're actually in oneness with everything and how this oneness can affect the totality of all of us, but through our own self. Because basically you can only know thyself. And with that deep merging with your spirit essence, your divinity, which already is and always is eternal in spirit, and then embracing and inviting this, merging it with your humanness. I made a video a while ago about embracing our human side, our human nature. This is so important on the Ascension journey, because Ascension is actually descension. We already exist in that level. We're just bringing it forth here. I'm going to have an interview tomorrow, 24th, I have an video interview on this show with a beautiful lady called Julie. She invited me like a while ago. And I will be speaking about this more, because the whole purpose is to share the grounded nature of Ascension in a real daily live kind of way, you know, how to really in a grounded sense understand this, how to implement these principles in our lives. Because I see when I talk to people all over the world, so many of them still seek for something outside of them, not just to fulfill them, but also to give them answers how to live their life. And this is not a path of true ascension. This is not a path of living divine love. And a lot of us, like I said, we say all is love anyway. We come to this understanding. But we don't always show that in our daily lives through every thread, through every relationship, through everything we do in actions. And lately, you know, I have a lot of groundedness in my spirit because I chose to come here to live that way. Not to teach or to preach, but to be it. And with my own example, I can just show the way. I can't do anything else, really. That's what I've realized in my journey. It doesn't have to be your journey, but it is mine. And I embrace it with all the fullness and the joy that it brings me to actually have enough groundedness to live that. And like I say, I don't mean grounded in a way to eat food that grounds your walk barefoot or just touch trees. That's just one part of it, one tiny part of it, and very important part, but just one part of it. What I mean, like I said, is we already are divine beings of divine love. But it's not enough to just say it, when your actions in your daily lives will reflect maybe something else. So how to be this being of complete, utter embodiment of this is still a question and a mystery to many. But the answer is so simple, my dear ones. Is to live your lives as grounded as you can, is to embrace your humanness as deeply as you can, and to embrace the part of you that maybe does not always understand something, and don't seek that understanding externally. When you don't have an understanding of something, say, the divine love in me embraces this human part that does not understand right now. Or embraces the human part in me that is sad right now, because divine love does not know any opposite, does not judge. It just is and observes. So to live in a fully grounded way means to be really present, really aware, really wise in your relationships, because relationships are not just with people, like I say, with every thread of creation. And when you will observe yourself, you will see when you will be grounded, when you'll be faced with something, you will be walking through it. You'll be triumphant. You'll be fearless. You'll walk into every situation with your deepest essence instead of avoiding it, or denying some aspects, or pushing it aside, or, you know, just some people that don't always like to hear what they need to hear on the spirit level for their soul expansion, they just kind of push it to the side, but under the carpet nothing really stays illuminated at all. It just stagnates. So when you really focus on being grounded in your embodiment of divine love, you don't like stagnation, because you know it doesn't bring forth the embodiment of it. You might say, okay, I'm still love, and yes, you are in spirit, but we are human beings for a reason, because divinity exploring itself in this realm of experience, that is the important part, and that is where the strongest of the strong can show that they got it, and you got it, and I got it, and we all have it. It's just a matter of taking the first step, of realizing that that's why we're here for. It's not just to be the dreamers of love, because, like I say, we're always there in spirit anyway. You don't have to come. A lot of people say, oh, I need to come to my spirit self. No, you're human because you are to download your human self into every thread of your experience and to be really present and grounded in all relationships. For example, I'll tell you what this means for me. If someone will come into your presence and will choose to be very ignorant, or will annoy you, upset you, project their stuff to you, you're not being really an embodiment of divine love if you keep saying, it's okay, and you keep acting like a doormat because you think love does that. Love embraces everything. Yes, it does, but embraces through your own uniqueness. There is no divinity embodied without the aspect of embracing and in grounding way live that uniqueness that you are. So instead of just being a pushover and accepting everything because you think that's what compassion is, what you do is you speak your truth in alignment. And like I always say, imagine this. We are vertical beings who are living horizontal expressions of creation. That's what we are. That's all of our tasks. And a lot of the people said, well, we will be just more in the background. We won't show ourselves. I'm love anyway. You know, otherwise you wouldn't be here. That doesn't mean that you have to have this job or occupation or expression of your spirit that needs to be very, something special. It's all special anyway. But something that you imagine that it has to be a certain way. It just needs to be the expression in the horizontal as well. Because as humans, let's face it, we are horizontal beings. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And by just pushing that aside, we're denying that we're actually here. And we're saying, you know what, I don't have to grow this way because I'm so much in here. Well, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. There's always something to learn in creation. There's always more to share, and love is sharing. Love is not controlling and dominating and trying to persuade or convince or change. Love is just sharing. So, in true grounded way of living your divinity, the divine love that you are, you will face things head on. You will speak your truth. Even if you will feel maybe sometimes I'll hurt someone, I won't speak that way. But imagine this scenario. When you do that, and that's when you show your self-empowerment. When you do that, when you set your boundaries as well, because boundaries don't mean you create duality. They just mean that you embrace your uniqueness. And sometimes where another person's energy enters yours, you got to know where this person ends and your field begins because of that aspect of uniqueness. We're one, but unique at the same time. So to really live in a state of both, you need to really live this grounded way. To embrace yourself in all fullness of your human nature, your humanity. But of course by being humble and respectful towards everyone else. So you're embracing that part of being grounded in everything. But you're just doing it in a very mild way. Even if it's just, sometimes it will seem like you're sharing through very raw core. And people will be like, wow, because a lot of people don't always like being very confronted, faced up front. Because people still like this, eventually we need to grow up. Like a baby, you nurture it, you kind of cradle it, you baby it, and then there's this phase that they need to grow up. And you will put them on their feet, and you'll say, well, now walk if you're ready. Of course, if they're ready. Everything that is happening, you need to be ready and prepared for. I just wanted to share from my spirit. I just wanted to share something that really deeply felt good to share in my heart today. And I know there's so many of you who are living love every day. Not just, and I know you do, exist. You're out there. You're a part of our community as well. And I'm thanking you for being here, for making a difference just by being you in a very grounded sense. No more time for hiding. You're here. And you're a blessed presence for the entire creation. So my beloveds, enjoy, and I'll talk to you soon when I feel inspired. I love you all. Bye.